Not relationship. Loneliness, isolation. There's a famous American humanistic psychologist. It's a Bueller. Is it Bueller? Yeah, Bueller. It's way back. He said that life, living, is about relationship. It's about being. A little baby, Romanian orphans, they spend the time rocking because they're deprived of relationships of touch, the attachment deficit. If a kid deprive them of attachment, they become abnormal. Even when those orphans from Romania come to the States, after years of therapy, play therapy, child therapy, they still have this problem. Attachment deficit can cause lasting damage to a person's psyche and health development. So we all need relationships. Relationships bring a smile to your face, all right? And when you see friends, family, get involved in a group, make you feel alive. You die without relationship. After 9/11, many high-flying executives say, "Oh, I realize now. I have to reevaluate my priorities. Before it's coming the corporate ladder. Now I realize that I can just wipe out in 1 minute. So now sometimes give up the business, give the job. I spend more time with my friends and family. The relationship is more important. Okay. So not just money. Okay. And then faith. Okay. Now people ask me, what is faith? Do you know we are wired for relationship? There's neuroscience. There's no evidence that we are wired for relationship. We are wired for spirituality. It's a whole branch of neuroscience dealing with spiritual experience. That somehow you were able to believe in something transcendental, okay, that bring you inner peace, make you better people. Everybody have to believe in something. Do you believe in Beatles? Or what is it? The rock king of rock. What is the guy? Just died. I know, man. He's died now. He's dead now. Michael Jackson. Some people believe in Michael Jackson. They, people believe. You have to believe in somebody. You have to believe in something that worth believing in, right? So everybody believes in something. Now finally. Again, neuroscientists. My friend from Harvard is George Whalen, and also another famous neuroscientist. They discovered that our craving for drug involves the same neural area that craving for relationship, craving for happiness. So that's deep in us. We all need happiness. God created us to enjoy this life. God didn't create us for misery, for sorrow. God created us for happiness. There's nothing wrong for happiness. So Mira said she went to go to Canada looking for a happier life. That's perfectly normal. If you don't want happiness, you bring sadness, there's something wrong with you. Everybody has a yearning for positive emotions, for positive feelings, right? Now, happiness is simply one part of the psychology of well-being. There's different kind of happiness. There's hedonic happiness. There is eudaimonic happiness. There's prudential happiness. There's chironic happiness. The whole bunch. There's all kinds of happiness. Depending on what happiness you're pursuing. If you pursue hedonic happiness or drug-induced happiness, you pursue self-destruction. That's why the pursuit of happiness has killed many people because they get after the wrong kind of happiness. But the idea of happiness is the right one. It all depends on what kind of happiness you're pursuing, right? So as a main therapist, I say, well, what are you after? Do you think that really gives you happiness? You only have one life. If you choose A, you're going to choose B. If you spend all your time pursuing money or pursuing a woman, at the end, you get nothing. It's disillusion, right? Now, another side, all the symptoms. They're all the symptoms of mental illness, of unhealthy life. Your client come to see you, whatever problem they might have, they're related to all these 7 problems. They're poor with life. They're afraid of death. They're depressed. They're lonely. They don't give up. They feel empty. They use drugs and do other things that are self-destructive. All of these are related to the basic needs for the good life. Right? The meaning of the good life is to meet all the basic needs. Does that answer your question? All of these things related to meaning. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have no time to explain to you, but empirically, they all related to meaning. If you fulfill meaning, you fulfill all the rest. There's tons of research, okay? And that book, that book I'm showing you. Oh, I'm sorry. That I'm worried about it. Yeah, it still happen. Oh, my dear wife, can you give me a bit of water? Put it someplace safe. No. Toast. So think about that, okay? Your job. Oh, here's a problem. I want to fix the problem. But the problem might be related to why are those basic needs? Right? So solution-focused therapy is short-sighted because they only look at the problem that need to be solved. We start looking at behind the problem is the deficit in all of these basic needs. That's what drives the problem. That's what drives the problem. Able somehow, while trying to work with him to solve the problem, able to find some way to meet those basic needs, he can recover much faster. I guarantee you, I challenge a salesman, but for an experiment, I say, with some kind of depressed patient, you teach your patient how to be happy, like sing a happy song or sing thank you, gratitude. And I'm trying to help them to meet the basic needs, to which way to produce more lasting benefits. This is better, right? You see, when you do some exercise, artificially increase your well-being, then take a course from Silverman, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they're all kind of happiness exercises.
Happiness, yeah.
The happiness exercises, fine, nothing wrong with them, but they are piecemeal. They don't deal with the fundamental, the symptoms of the problem. The root, the basis for happiness. They deal with piecemeal exercises. But if you have no purpose in life, you ask me to do those exercises, that's what the point. I said, life sinks. There's no point. I mean, I don't like life. Why should I be happy? Right? But often, if you're able to address the basic needs, you go a long way to help your client. Any challenge?
No challenge.
Thank you.
Dennis the Menace will challenge. Do you think Seligman might say that by focusing on positivity and having them get happier, that then they're in a better position to be creative and solve these problems?
Sure, they will say that. Yeah. Of course, they will say that. Yeah. But I'm saying this is one way. This is one way. I'm going to challenge him and say, well, let's do the other way. Focus on exercise, happiness activity. Let's focus on many activities. Let me give an example. Okay. I wrote to him and also wrote to Jim Pennebaker, the one about opening up, about writing. Now, the positive psychology group say you focus on happy things, on good things. So one group of subjects will write about their successes, their happiness, happy moments. Another group will read about the troubles they've gone through. So I suggest read story about good, both good and bad. I predict that my method produces the best results. And Jim Pennebaker, second best. Cinnamon result with the worst. I have research to demonstrate that. When I study successful aging, I ask the elderly, tell me the stories, the past, okay? Oh, that paper become a very famous paper, okay? So analyze the data, okay? The people who are doing the best, who is healthy, mentally, physically, the elderly who do the best are those people who have overcome their past difficulties, who have made sense of their past trauma difficulties, and who are able to tell their wisdom to the younger generation. Those people are the best. If people only brag about the past, oh, I did that, oh, I'm a rich man. The shallow, because they're avoiding. You know, the guy, recently this guy, American Congressman Charles Rangel, he wrote a book, he said, I will never had a bad day in my life. They're bragging. And now he's facing jail term. Look at his face. Look at his face. I have never had a bad day in my life. Do you believe him? I don't. Happy. I don't have a bad day. Already the happy days. You're a robot. You're lying. You're living in La La Land. All human beings come through, yes.
Well, I don't challenge your list at all. It seems like a great list. But I do think that your definition of positive psychology is somewhat limited. Because when in the study of positive psychology, every one of those items is an important topic. And the study of pleasure is, savoring and how to get pleasure, how to take advantage of pleasure. That's one small facet, but it's only a little corner. So meaning, resilience, virtue, faith, hope, well-being, those are all important aspects.
I invite you to come to the symposium on the future of psychology. When I give you a more detailed analysis, but this is immunotherapy, okay? So I'll be challenging the American brand, okay? And so it's one Canadian versus all Americans. So welcome to the symposium, okay? Then you will see my logic, okay, and my empirical data. So in therapy, I think this is nice to keep in mind, okay? It's here. His problem is related to any of the deficits, to the basic deficits. Okay, next slide.